It was Carl Jung who says, thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. And I'd like to add onto that a little bit that feeling is sometimes really difficult as well. And some people we find are really out of touch deeply with their true feelings. Today, I want to give a little introduction of what has helped me greatly and a method of self-development work that I use and I have been using for about 8 years now. I'm going to call it shadow work. And this is the term, the shadow, actually does stem back to Carl Jung. And you're more than welcome to do research on that. But for me personally, my channel isn't to offer someone else's knowledge and wisdom. It's really to help explain my experiential journey with using some of these techniques that are more esoteric or hidden in mainstream culture. I want to describe today how an aspect of mirror work that I've applied to myself has deeply transformed my relationships, not only with others, but with myself, which in turn is all related. So one of the ways that I have used the mirror work to help me is by, in essence, using interaction with others, people, places, or things as a means to gauge my own inner reactions about what's happening. And then in that gauging of awareness of how I'm truly feeling in the moment, it provides this opening for me to self-reflect what is mine, what is truly theirs, and what is this projection or this field of energy that's going on between two beings that maybe is what we would call a complex or some repressed feelings or emotions that are maybe coming out and being blamed on the other. So to simplify that a little bit, I'm just going to give you a very simple technique that I've used that's helped me deeply to keep myself accountable while I'm developing in relationship. So what that means is when I'm in interaction with somebody else, I deeply acknowledge my feelings in the moment. And if there's an upset, this is my opportunity. If there's not an upset, there's an opportunity there as well. But today I'm talking about if there's an upset, this is what I do. So I will try to distill what it is that I'm truly feeling. And if you have been out of touch with your feelings for a very long time, or you're not certain of your feelings or where they're coming from, it may be a process of development of cultivating a relationship with yourself where you can first permit yourself to actually even feel and identify with the truth of what you're feeling. So this is a lifelong journey. This is something that you're going to constantly, work on and have the opportunity to develop as you live and explore what it means to be in relationship with others and yourself. But the first thing is to permit yourself to feel, to permit yourself to let it arise and to honestly, as deeply as you can, identify with what it is that you're feeling. If you're able to do that, you would want to try to distill as much as possible or purify what the feeling is. So if there's an upset, a lot of times there's a lot of unconsciousness and a lot of words that come up and a lot of blaming and judgment or whatever it may be that arises. And there's not a real sense of clarity to maybe the one thing that it is that's truly upsetting you. So say, for instance, you feel like you're being judged or somebody's making you feel rejected or repressed or whatever it may be, right? You want to try to, in the interaction that's happening, and this takes time, to kind of cut through the noise a bit and to try to, within yourself, permit yourself to just narrow it down to maybe just one or two words. I feel judged. I feel rejected. I feel angry. I feel this, whatever it is. Try to distill it into a word or two, and then permit yourself to have that feeling about the other. I'm not one for repressing that part of it, and we have to first cultivate the deeper understanding. So let it come out, let the reaction come out, let the feeling come out. And then Once you distill it, what I always do is then point the finger back at myself and I say, okay, I'm feeling judged. Then I say to myself, is there something I'm not seeing about myself that's judgmental in this situation or maybe in other situations in my life? Right? And this is what I've done over a long span of time that I would identify as mirror work. It's using experiences in our reality to see where an upset arises or an opportunity to cultivate a separateness between that person and myself, a division, a hierarchy, the feeling of just being separate. They're not seeing me, I'm not seeing them. And what I try to do is close that time space a little bit by saying, how do I potentially contribute to this sort of emotion or feeling within myself or project that outwardly when maybe I'm just not seeing it. Like I'm using that person as a reflection, as a mirror, and I'm blaming maybe or shaming or whatever it may be someone else when actually that's what lives within me. So in the spiritual community, often you will hear that the feeling is arising within you. You're only truly identifying with it, and especially if there's an over or a big upset or reaction, because that lives within you, right? Like you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't be so upset about it if it wasn't something trying to come to consciousness within yourself to look at. It's like an opportunity to look much deeper. Mirror work can be very confronting, especially when you start, because there's this assumption that there's just this separateness, that this isn't mine, this is definitely theirs. I don't do that, they do that, right? And this kind of work radically helps us to look at ourselves more accurately, to do inner development work on ourselves so we can show up more authentically. And also, it radically improves communication with other people. And if you have multiple people willing to do this very deep self-reflective work and commit to that process within themselves, then you start to cultivate more conscious relationships. And I think at the heart of the matter, this is what most of us are seeking: a sacred, deep connection where we understand the ups and downs in life, but we can communicate in a way where we're both holding each other and ourselves accountable to evolve and to grow. When there's the projection of it's them and it's not me and I'm over here and they think this, that separation is going to create extra turmoil and problems within the relationship, because relationships want to simultaneously dance together, not fight each other, right? So mirror work has drastically improved my relationships, improved my cognitive abilities of understanding what's going on. It has improved my vision, but that's all stemming from me holding myself accountable. And when I'm feeling an upset or I'm feeling an emotion, let myself feel it, right? Look at it, be with it, see how the other person is showing me that, right? Maybe it's just a pure reflection of my unawareness, right? Maybe that person is showing me something because I shouldn't necessarily be in that situation with that person, place, or thing, right? Maybe that's an opportunity to shift out of something that's not healthy for me. But we will never fully know or have that discernment of, is this healthy for me or not, until we hold ourselves accountable to get to know ourselves better, and using the world as mirrors to see what arises within you, and then hold yourself responsible as much, if not more, than what you're seeing, to me has been a radical development in the opportunity of what relationship can look like. In today's world, I believe that what we're doing very often is projecting our unmet needs onto our partners, onto our colleagues, onto our bosses, onto our children, onto our community, our culture, and our world. And this is creating a lot of turmoil. And this is exactly what we're seeing in the world, is that we're not as self-aware. We're not seeing clearly enough to know when to be responsible to either adjust our own behavior or to step out of a circumstance that may be unhealthy for us. And we're perpetuating a cycle of toxicity. So again, the only way we can really develop that discernment is to do this self inner work, mirror work, shadow work, because all of the other methods that I've seen, including therapy, psychotherapy, even religion, even really deeply going into a belief system, it hasn't, in my opinion, I don't see in the world that has been enough. I just don't. So there has to be a way of, having our belief systems, but also really deeply holding ourselves accountable and very gently and delicately cultivating a relationship with yourself where you permit yourself to feel your feelings and you start to distill what's arising in relationships outside of you as a means to mirror back to you maybe what you're not seeing. I believe is an incredible, powerful first step in improving all aspects of our life and hopefully contributing to a more aware, more conscious, more loving tomorrow.